This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
Good morning. It is now the second full day of the Magic Convention here in Atlanta. And I'm not going to, as I said, not going to call this Hot Atlanta because actually we've been having some cooler weather. Had a little bit of a shower yesterday afternoon and temperatures down in the 80s, so it's quite comfortable here. And we're going to be getting ready for the first event, which is the lecture by Jeff Hobson. Had a great show then last evening, which was wonderful to see all the performers, and we'll talk about that with some people here today, so we kind of get a little review of what you missed from last evening's show. But while we're here then this morning, that we have someone, as I said, you always run into friends of these conventions, some people that you haven't seen then for a long time, and others that are newfound friends that you make while you're at the convention that become long-term friends. Well, one of the people that I have known since my inception, perhaps, back in the 70s, getting started, involved in magic. One of my longtime good friends in magic, Mr. Charlie McFarland, and his wife Jan is here with us then also. So, and so here they are now, Charlie McFarland and Jan. Hey, guys.
Well, hey, hello.
So glad to get reunited again over here, all the way in Atlanta. You never know where we're going to be meeting these jet setters over here.
It's been a while.
Charlie, as many of you should know, is a trade show magician, also was a pilot for Continental and private pilot, but besides that, from the magic world, he is someone who is more underground that you should know. I should probably do a whole episode on you sometime. You're a very interesting guy. So, how have you guys been enjoying the show from a spouse's perspective? From a let me see, how have you enjoyed what you've seen so far?
Oh, well, we barely got in to see the show last night.
You did see most of it.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Yeah, Jeff Hobson is a hoot. I mean, what can you say? Always good.
That's really good. Yeah, no, I enjoyed Jeff a lot. I haven't seen him out yet to say hi, but I'm sure he'll be around. I guess he's going to do a thing right now, I bet.
That's why we're waiting to actually get into the room. I don't know why it's taking so long. He doesn't have that much stuff to set up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, I'm sure, whatever it is.
I've heard his lecture, and a lot of the stuff that he did in the last night's show, he's teaching or selling in his lecture.
Okay. Yeah, I did the thumb tie thing last night. I thought it was really good. I've not seen him do that before.
It's good, and it's for sale. I do that now, too.
Oh, do you?
I do, yeah. It's great with the shoelaces, and then also he has his egg bag, which, did you see Francis Bonatti performing?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
It was interesting to see two egg bag routines in the same show.
It's not uncommon to see two linking ring or more in the same show, but egg bag routines?
Well, true. Although
they were different.
They were different, and the second guy played off of Jeff's routine. They're using the same girl and kind of joking with it a little bit. So that was good. That was good.
And so you did get to see him. Did you miss Puck?
I missed Puck. Yeah,
he was the first one up then, since you guys arrived a little bit later.
Didn't make it in for that, so I think he's going to do something again today, though.
I think Puck'll probably be, performing or lecturing. He opened with razor blades, and he did a card trick that was dedicated to his fathers. He was a foster child when he was 5 years old, and then after his father died later, he tried to find his biological father, which he did, but he had passed by that time. But he was some well-known jazz musician, apparently.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But anyhow, it was a touching tribute, to his dad. So I thought that Puck did a great job.
Yeah.
So
they did. I also noticed that they had like two bubble acts, which was unusual.
That's unusual.
To see
You're right.
For one thing. So that was kind of
Perry. Meadow Perry.
Meadow Perry.
What did you think of that? Had you seen that act?
I've not seen her. I've seen it on TV.
Seen some similar,
just similar,
thing,
but it was great.
I think she did it on Masters of Illusion.
Oh, that might have been
maybe so.
Could have been
So I've never seen the one with the big bubbles where
like the window pane.
Yeah, like the window pane. I thought that was very interesting.
It was real good.
Yeah.
But then when Losander did bubble act, then too, it's kind of
at the end. Yep. So you had two bubble acts.
All we needed was Tom Noddy. Remember?
That's true. But we had a lot of repeat stuff, but it was different enough. I mean, you had the two bubble acts, the two thumb ties, the two egg bags, the two. There's something else. I can't remember what it was now, but they were different enough that it was from I don't know that it would play on a general audience type group, but for this group, that was good.
When you said two thumb ties, it was Losander was doing his unbreakable chain thing.
Yeah, the unbreakable chain and the thumb and finger.
Didn't you used to do that routine? I think you did something kind of like that, as I recall, like with red
twist
tape
ties.
or something.
The twist ties,
Red
the
ties.
Jasper knees, haven't done it in a long time with the pipe cleaners.
Right. Did you do that at the trade shows too?
No, never did it at trade shows. I also felt like the master of that is Matt King. Have you seen him do it? Oh man, it's wonderful. Using the twist ties for bread wrappers, and very, very clever.
No stale bread in your house.
Yeah, no stale. That's right. That's right. But no, it's very good. So after I saw him do that, I went, okay, I'm never going to get that down like that. So I'll do
well, since you guys are jet setters and get around, have you been to Vegas in a while? Have you seen Mac's show or anything in a while?
I haven't.
No, we haven't been to Vegas in years.
No,
now.
in a long, long time.
Yeah.
I went there for, it was not Magic Live, it was for the Mindvention. Three years ago, I guess.
That was about the last one I did not go to. I've been going to Mindvention for years.
Yeah, that was the first and only one I went to. I tried to go back, but something always gets in the way. Usually a show somewhere. Seems like SPE or SCG is in that same time period. So,
well, I was out in Vegas just a month ago. I happened to run into Anders Boulanger, and so I did an episode with him about trade shows. We sat down, and it's going to be in a future episode, because I was doing a trade show up in Calgary, and he came by the booth, and he was just trying to get into it. And so he's a student of Joel Bauer. I won't mention his name again. But
well, I did see listen to one of your podcasts that you did Paul Gertner. I think you caught him after a show somewhere, and that was real good. So that kind of got me hooked on your podcast. Was listening to Paul.
Well, I'm going to have Seth Kramer in a couple weeks. I'm going to go up to Quebec for FISM, and we've already set a time to get aside. So we've got a couple of good ones coming up.
I was hoping to see Seth here, but I talked to him right before he came, and he said, "No, we're going to FISM." So that kind of hurts the thing going on here a little bit. I think attendance-wise, they're just too close together, and that's, I guess, the only time that's been in North America.
First time in North America, exactly. I was wishing it was going to be over in Europe. You've never been to a FISM, have you?
No, I sure haven't.
They're fun, and they're so different. It's obviously the international kind of a thing, so it's fun over there. So are you working very much at all anymore? Or
of course, with that year of COVID, nothing happened. But it's just now starting to pick up. Did OTC in Houston. I've got a couple more booked. Oil shows. Unfortunately, the travel is starting to wear on me. I do one, maybe two shows a year in the U.S. The rest are all overseas, mostly in Saudi or in that area, I guess. And the 30-hour flights are starting to wear on me. So
we don't have the bodies we used to.
They're
trying to tell us something. According to the doctor said, "You're not 30 anymore, young man, old man."
So I've been having Mark Phillips fill in for me sometimes whenever I can't do something or I'm double booked. I'll call Mark, and he goes and does a real good job. So they're real happy with him.
I ran into Tracy Evans when I was in Vegas talking to Russell Bruce. I went to see Ka. Russell is working now with Ka at the Cirque du Soleil show. And I was talking to Tracy, saying, I remember when there was a trade show, and you had done the graphics, and it was Charlie McFarland and Paul Driscoll, and at the time Steve Shaw at Vanacek, and there was a fourth person, and he couldn't remember who the other person. You remember that?
Possibly Carrie Pollock?
No, someone, I thought, from the Houston area.
Oh, from the Houston area. Boy.
Remember, you had these silhouettes on the business cards. Each of you had these cards that were made up, and it was for the trade show for trade shows, T for T kind of a thing.
Oh, Scott Tokar?
No, it would have been him.
It's
immaterial. That's okay. But my point is, I was just kind of bringing your name up when we were talking a little bit about that, and I was like, man, I haven't seen Charlie in such a long time, and Jan, so it's so good to catch up with you guys. I'm glad to see you here at this convention.
Get back to Oklahoma. Stop by.
If you're going up the Grove, you pass right by us.
Probably you did.
I guess I did. So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Jan and Charlie McFarland. Scotty out. We are in the second full day. Today is Thursday, and of the convention here in Atlanta, and we already got to speak with Charlie and Jan McFarland. Kind of a surprise to see some old friends I haven't run into in a long time, which is part of the advantage, as I mentioned earlier, of coming to a convention, of not only meeting new friends, but seeing old friends and people you may not see except maybe once a year. Some people even more irregularly than that. But anyhow, here's someone I love seeing every time I do, and I see this guy all over the world, Oscar Munoz. Hey there,
Hey,
Oscar.
Scott, how you doing, man? It's
Fantastic.
good to see you.
And he's one of the past international presidents,
That's
and also
right.
and one of the few people who is a Gold Cup winner.
Right. There's 7 of us. 7 that's won the Gold Cups.
Yeah.
The last one being Chase Curtis. I haven't seen him for quite some time.
And he was from Texas as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, from Texas. In
And
fact,
he was working Branson way back when.
That's right. The last time I heard about him, he was just still working in Branson, so I don't know where he is now.
I don't think I should have mentioned that. I was in Branson last week, and I should have asked somebody about that. But nope, I haven't heard from him in a while. But the thing is, the gold medal and the gold cup. Now, the medal is for the stage. The gold cup is for the close-up. And they are only awarded when?
When they exceed the judges' expectations. Mm-hmm. So that's when the only time they're awarded. And hopefully that this year we're going to give it away.
I hope so, too.
That's some really good acts.
We have had some good acts leading up to FISM, which is going to be happening in a couple of weeks.
That's right. We're going to have, I believe, 4 of the FISM finalists perform tonight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's going to be quite a show tonight.
And then tomorrow night we will have 6 of the competitors who were in the stage competition.
We will have the finalist for the competition, yes, who wins possibly the gold medal or first place. We never know.
One of the reasons I'm asking you about this is because you and Melody are the chairman.
Yes, we run. Well, Melody's the contest chair, and I am the co-chair, as well as the convention chair, which is I'm wearing like 3 or 4 hats today. But but we're getting through it, and I think it's a great convention. Considering all the COVID stuff and everything that's going on, I think we're great.
Yes, and for those people who were at the convention here that may not have heard, that you made an announcement that Lance Burton had just got COVID, and so he went back to the room and he said, "Hey, by the way, just thought I'd let you know." But he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He just texts me and he says, "Hey, I got COVID. Let the people know that I was hanging around with and stuff." But he was pretty much keeping his distance from people. Yeah. And I think everybody's going to be safe and sound. And he's back in the room just trying to make sure he has a lot of water and make sure he feels himself good. So, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah. And I know there have been some people been wearing masks and everything and being safe, coming around here. It's been choice, obviously.
Right. Right now, Georgia doesn't have a mandate, so we're just going by what Georgia's state law is.
And we're not requiring also to show vaccination records or anything like that either.
Because there's not a requirement here in Atlanta.
Right. So. Speaking of which, Atlanta, in this location, I think next to the airport, is really good. It's a nice hotel, good choice.
Well, thank you. We chose this. We wanted a bigger hotel, but unfortunately, again, due to the COVID, we didn't know where it was taking us. So do we rent a larger hotel, which we spend more money, and then we don't make the room count, and then we have to pay more money to the hotel. So it was like juggling, not knowing what was going to happen. We call ourselves magicians, but we can't look at the crystal ball.
One of the other things, it was not a surprise, but this was something we were expecting, and that is David Copperfield, for him to show up and actually show us a little bit of his museum doing the Zoom call.
That was awesome, don't you think? I think
it was. It turned out great on the big screens there.
And tonight we're going to get to see him again. It shows a different part of the museum. So those of you who haven't seen the museum, oh my gosh, it put me to tears. When I saw it live, when I was there, when I walked into that museum and saw that magic on the walls and stuff, it took me back when I first walked into a magic show.
Whenever they turned on the lights. Yes. Like he talks about it.
Right. And then you see that glowing light turns on and you're like, oh my God, I'm in a magic shop. Like you were transported back into time. Yeah. Even if it wasn't as big as you in your mind, but you still got, wow, it's like when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So, it was a good experience.
It was. And this convention, again, has been pretty good so far. And I say so far it's been really great. Then tonight we're going to be having a banquet. Steve Ragazzi's going to be performing or something?
Yeah, Steven will be the keynote speaker at the banquet, yes. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if it's tonight or...
I think it's tonight. Then tomorrow morning is the Merlin breakfast.
Right. That's right. You're right. Correct. It's tonight, so that should be pretty fun. Seeing. Too bad we can't see his son first.
I wish we had Nathan here. Wouldn't that be a surprise?
Right.
Nice surprise.
You never know. Yes. Yeah. I think he has some pool. I don't know.
He might be able to get him, and that'd be cool if he did. And then tomorrow in the Merlin breakfast, we're going to be hearing Stuart McDonald.
That's right.
Now the Merlin, of course, are for those of us who have 25 years consecutive or more of membership.
Right. I have 35 plus years. I won't say how old I am.
I think mine's 35 because I started, I think, in 78 when I joined, I believe.
I joined like in 83, I believe. So I don't know. I have to check.
Yeah. But Stuart McDonald's going to be talking about the road to FISM and his building of his act.
Yeah, if you you got to listen to it. I mean, it's really informative kind of lecture talk about how he made it and how he analyzes everything. I mean, I must have hours of video watching him perform and So
as we both have, and I really think he's got a true shot at getting a Grand Prix this year.
You know, I must agree with you. I think he has a really good shot. He's going to be performing tonight, and I'll tell you what, he has something special for everybody.
Now, you're a judge, speaking of being contest chair, co-chair then with Melody, you were also then a judge for FISM.
Yes, I'm a qualified judge for FISM.
What does that mean, qualified judge?
What that means is I went to training to be a FISM judge.
They'll put you in if they need you?
In case they need me, yeah. They call me and stuff. But I went to Shanghai to judge competition and then got taught how to judge as a FISM judge by Domenico Dante and his group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know approximately how many people you think will be showing up in Quebec next week or 2 weeks? So, yeah.
I heard in like 4,000 people.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
it's the first time in North America.
First time, yeah. So the people got lucky and bought tickets early. You're saving a lot of bucks. You know, I unfortunately can't be going because I got what we call work. I got gigs. Okay, I got 2 birthday parties.
Can't go. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're having a great time. Speaking of conventions, and this one in IBM, and so we'll have some more to go for those who are listening to this and saying, well, maybe I'll come over for at least one day. You can get day tickets, I guess, for this too.
There are day tickets. You can buy it, come out here and maybe watch or go to watch a lecture or something, or go to. There's also a dealer ticket where you can just buy and go to the dealer room. If you miss a magic shop or don't have one in your town or something, you can come by here in Atlanta. For the rest, these last 2 days and get into the dealer's room.
How many dealers are there? Look like there are about 35 or so.
Yeah, you're right. There are about 35 dealers out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so all sorts of magic.
Oscar, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're a magic man. It's always good
to see you,
talk with you.
Good to see you. Thank you for helping us out.
You bet. For the Magic Word Podcast, that was Oscar Munoz. Scotty out. Okay, and so we are continuing with this second full day, and one of the performers who is on the bill and will be performing tonight, is that right? We've got Elliott Hunter with me right now. Hey, Elliott.
How's it going, Scott? Good to see you again.
Good seeing you then as well. So tell me, is this the first I.B.M. convention you've actually performed? I know you've competed, and I've seen you compete, but...
This is the first one in person, so they had me on the bill last year on Zoom. So if you decide to count the Zoom shows, I don't know. But so we did the Zoom one this year, but this is my first in-person I.B.M. performing at. And I've competed since I was a kid at these things. So it's an honor to be performing with such an amazing lineup and to be on the poster with Lance Burton and Dave Copperfield.
Wow, and all those people. That's right. It's like,
yeah.
What am I doing here?
Right? It's kind of surreal sitting at that table with them last night signing pictures. So
well, I remember, was it last year? It was. I think that was one of the first conventions I came out live. That did come out, and that was the Abbott's Get Together, and you won last year. Was that right?
Yeah. So last year, right after, it was the first convention back after things reopened from the lockdowns, and so it was my first Abbott's convention actually, and they had me compete. Well, I decided to compete and took first prize there. So it's such an honor, and from there I was able to book a couple of the convention appearances as I gear up for FISM.
Yeah. And you are going to be going to FISM then?
I'm going to FISM. We have about 2.5 weeks after this until we head out.
What is your method for rehearsal and preparing for FISM?
The best advice I got is one live show for people you don't know is better than 10 rehearsals in your room by yourself. So instead of course, you always practice in your room, but I booked as many live shows as I could, and then I would always either open or close my show with the FISM act and kind of introduce it as this is my award-winning act, so it may seem different than the rest of the show. But in every live show I did my FISM act, so instead of doing it for the mirror, I did it for real people. And I should have published this advice. Between my corporate shows, I did a couple summer camp shows, and if you want to know if you're flashing, perform for 10-year-olds, because they'll tell you.
Good advice. Yes. Was that like a Tannen's camp or what camp?
No, just some government-sponsored summer camps, some police-sponsored summer camps in California. California, Washington, West Coast. You know, okay. I have Canadian friends.
So, what got you started to begin with getting involved in competition in particular?
Yeah, so my very first convention was back in 2012. Was the very last Cramian's Magic Jamboree in Newburgh, Oregon. And they just brought it back this year. But the last one I did when Stan Cramian was alive, and I competed and took third place. And I did linking rings, and I did a card manipulation set. I was in middle school at the time. And so every competition, every convention I went to, I saw it as an option to compete. So I competed as often as I could, and then that started leading into getting known within the community, and then it's always a great way to like improve your act. People tell you what you need to work on, but it's also a great way to get seen and get booked at other places as well.
So what advice would you give to those youth perhaps who are thinking about competing but who haven't, and stay home and just do YouTube videos and things? What do you think?
Yeah, so for those who do YouTube and TikTok and all that now, you're not going to make a live career doing magic unless you're monetizing videos, and who knows how long that'll last. So if you can pivot within that, but people always need live entertainment. And in terms of competing, if you're thinking about competing and you're nervous, don't think about it as a competition. You're doing a show. You're performing a show for people, and as soon as you eliminate any expectations, you're going to see yourself reach greater heights. Just don't focus on the stress of it, and focus on doing a show and being as entertaining as possible. And if you don't win or you don't take a prize, come back until you do.
That's a good advice also, and also not to take that so hard that you just kind of crash and burn. I've seen some people who have done that. I remember we talked about this specifically on the podcast whenever Chris Randall didn't win at FISM, and he just completely emotionally came apart and had a nervous breakdown.
It was really interesting. After I competed at FISM North America, I was a couple months later, I was scrolling through Facebook, and almost a day apart of each other, I saw two of my competitors selling pieces of their act on Surplus Magic Exchange. Wow, I'm done with this. And a professional will go back and review what they need to change and then make the necessary changes and go back until they take something, or they'll use it as an opportunity to grow as a performer and as a competitor as well. So even if you don't take anything, you're still going to gain so much by competing.
And I look at someone, I talked yesterday with Michael Dardon, who's won, but I don't know.
Yeah,
probably
great.
Shawn Farquhar is the only magician who's won more contests probably ever,
Yeah.
but is he like somebody who is well known in the magic community worldwide? No. Is he doing well professionally? Yes. But did the competition get him there? And so, not necessarily. So I'm saying is have realistic dreams and expectations, I think, about your wins and losses also.
Oh, definitely. And the more competition you do, it's more stage time in front of people who ultimately you respect and respect you back. And these are people, I think magicians are some of the hardest people to perform for. So if you can impress magicians, you're going to impress a lay audience. And, impressing magicians is how you get booked to places like the Magic Castle and the Magic Circle and Chicago Magic Lounge. People who book these rooms and see so much magic. As soon as you can see and showcase something that's new and original, there's a couple acts today that were just incredible. Material that we'd never seen before. Right. And so those acts are the ones that are going to compete at FISM, and they're going to work the castle, and they're going to get so much work out of competing. And they may not be known globally, but they'll be known within the industry, and people will be able to recognize their face here and there.
I just was talking with Eric Tate for the podcast, and I'm going to have his episode posted sometime in the future. And one of the things we were talking about, I guess, had to do with therapy and competing for, not competing, but rather performing in front of magicians. And he said, I'd rather perform before non-magicians and people I don't know than I would magicians because they make me nervous. And I remember whenever I was first got started, and I always liked to have a friend. Didn't matter if it was who they were, but it's someone who might even been an acquaintance, not even a friend, but I knew they were in the audience, so I felt I was performing for them. And then this one time, I thought they were in the audience, and because I saw them before the show, and then afterwards I talked to them. I was looking for them, didn't see them, saw them a few days later, and they said, "Oh, we didn't get a stay, we missed it." And I thought that was the first time I performed for a completely strange audience. And once I got over that, I realized, and the audience of all strangers like me, I thought I can do this. But I needed to have that touchstone of someone or ones or people or family in the audience. But once I kind of weaned away from that, I felt like now I can do this.
That's a really good point you bring up there. So the more you're kind of weaning off it, like anything. If you want to quit caffeine, for example, you're not going to cut it cold turkey. That's going to hurt your head. So if you're used to performing for friends, and I would do this too in my rehearsal sessions, is you practice in front of a mirror. If you only practice in front of a mirror, you're going to get in front of an audience and freak out because you don't see yourself. Yeah. So you put a curtain over the mirror, so once you get the move down, now you can turn the mirror off and focus on another part of the room when you're working. So, and I like your advice too of having a friend or someone that you know is going to be supportive of you in the audience. Now, and I know Eric Tate has made a lot of quality changes to his act to elevate it to the next level. He's really taken the advice that he's been given to heart. And myself, with the act that I'm bringing to FISM, is material that I've done 400 shows at the Magic Castle with. I've performed the act all over the world, and at this point, it's muscle memory. And I've done it sleep deprived. I've done it on not sleeping for 2 days. I've done it on an overdose of caffeine, and I'm jittery. I've had everything go wrong in the act, possibly go wrong, and then some. And so I know that even if something does make a mistake tonight or make a mistake at FISM, I'm going to have an interesting way of getting out of it, and either people are going to know and it's going to be fun, or they're not going to know. And regardless, I know my way out of it. So it's going in with that confidence, knowing that I've done this show over 1,000 times for live people. So going into FISM, I'm thinking of it as another show, and every time I talk about it, I'm telling people I'm performing in Quebec. And then if they dig further, I'll tell them what it is. But for me, it's a show. It's not a competition.
Yeah, good way of looking at it. Good attitude and good advice, and you're a good friend. Thanks very much. Good luck also with this. And it's going to be coming up just in about 2 weeks. There we go. Good. That's the attitude. And so with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Elliott Hunter, with the man with two first names.
Yeah, never trust a man with two first names.
This is Scotty L. So now we are with another past international president and someone who is also the contest, I just had the contest chairman with Oscar, but also then the talent, what I'm trying to say, my tongue is twisted. Here I am with a very talented Shawn Farquhar. Hi, Shawn.
Hi, I'm not sure very talented, but I know talent when I see it.
When you see it.
I'm booking it now.
You booked some good ones, I think. This is a great convention, including Copperfield, which I guess Ken had something to do with.
David agreed. Copperfield, when we talked to Ken, we said, the president gets to talk about who they like to honor, and he said, David Copperfield's 100th anniversary. I said, yeah, good luck with that. He said, no, I think it would be, and Dave would say yes, and he did, and it was amazing because he's the person you should honor at 100.
He's the Pope.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
We
did tell him about that, by the way.
It's the greatest of all times, and so we've awarded him the GOAT, and beautiful plaque. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
That is supposed to be displayed someplace. I want to take a picture of it.
It's displayed over by the registration.
I got to take a picture.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And, we started to list the accolades, and it's and many more, because there's so many things that, not just, things like the Emmy Awards and things like that, but all the creations that he's created in Magic. And you start to list them, you go, there are far too many to list. It's just, we'd need 3 plaques.
Well, when you go in, of course, you take the tour, he shows you a little video and everything of all the different things. There was one thing that kind of stuck out to me, and that was he had been knighted by the Queen. And so I said, should we be calling you Sir David? And he just kind of smiled and said, no, whatever.
Yeah.
Thought, wow, he's been knighted?
I only recently
everything.
I only recently was able to take the tour, and I wanted to be there all night. He said it usually takes a couple hours. We were there 5.5 hours, and I still wanted to go back through to see things a second and third time because I knew I missed so much. There was a joke in there. So David was showing us this little area where women were, and he said, these are mirror cards. I said, by Adeline Herman. And he says, yeah, I've got this one, I've got that one. And I saw one that he didn't have that I know I have. And I said, by the way, do you have this one? And he goes, no, I don't know, and just kind of smiled at me. And we walked around the corner, and he had 4 of them on the wall on the other side. I'm like, okay, maybe you have a few of them. It's like, yeah, it was so awesome. It's like, I don't know, Shawn. Let's look on this side. Yeah. Oh, there they are. It's like,
where'd I put them? Oh,
so amazing. And he's such a humble guy that was so great. Gave us the most amazing tour. I got to sit in a chair that was quite uplifting. That's a joke. If anybody ever goes tour, don't sit in the chair. It was really good. I'm so thrilled that he agreed to allow us to honor him. And this convention, 100th anniversary, the talent I've had come in. The people, what I love as my compliment is that I brought in people that we've all known and loved, and they're doing stuff that we all know and love. And I brought in people that we've not seen, that are workers, that are working all over the world and doing great stuff, but we don't get to see them. People like Siegfried Teaver last night just rocked the room, and it's like, and everybody's
I saw him at the Castle a few weeks ago, and I had seen that act in the parlor, and I saw him when we were going through with the autographs, and I said, hey, I enjoyed you over there, and he did the same act. It knocked you out.
And what's funny is he said, I stood in the autograph line, and a lot of people going, who are you? Who are you? And I was like, well, at the end of tonight, they'll all know who you are.
Yeah,
and
exactly right.
Meadow Perry, absolutely, beautiful act. And a lot of them were people that I discovered during the pandemic, because I was just watching video after video trying to get my magic.
For an example, someone was telling me about, is her name Alec or Alex?
Alex.
I know nothing about her, but I heard she's phenomenal, has a great personality.
During the pandemic,
okay.
She was doing a video on YouTube talking about busking. and really articulate.
She's on the cover of Vanish.
Yeah, I just recently, right after we announced that she was going to be an IBM, all of a sudden I was like, wow, it was very cool. And she said it's opened a lot of doors to her. Same as Meadow Perry said, she's doing Masters of Illusion because we featured her in the virtual convention. I think IBM we're trying hard to introduce you to the old people, remind you of the old ones, and the new people, to find new talents that are, really deserve to be looked at. Alex did the most amazing cup and ball routine, full grimoire pouch and everything, and I was like, oh, we need to talk about stuff like this. She really gets the busking thing. Alex is very clever, and I thought, yeah, I'll ask. And Alex freaked out when I said, I can't believe you're asking me. I said, I can't believe you wouldn't think of. They said that they were driving 8 hours that day, coming home from Florida, and it was the last 20 minutes of the drive, totally uninvigorated, ready to and they said they went bing, and Alex said, Shawn Farquhar sent me a text to work the IBM. And said the rest of the drive was really easy.
That made things for her.
Yeah, I love that feeling. Because I remember as a young artist, Pete Byro asking me to be at the first convention ever held outside of America, at the Quebec Convention. And I got to be the opening act on the opening night in my own country.
How cool is that?
And that was the break of a lifetime for me. And I didn't do a perfect job. There was technical errors, and both on my side and the technical side. But I would never give it up for the world, just because it was this opportunity to be seen by my peers on a
Always
stage.
say yes.
Yeah, always say yes, and then figure out what you're going to do later.
I think yes is the magic word for life.
Oh, yeah.
Always say yes.
Yeah. It's the same as my slogan is, it's my job. And it's because one day I was walking on a ship, and this gentleman said, there's a problem with that. And this cruise member said, I'm sorry, it's not my job, and walked away. And I went over and immediately started to deal with it. And the guy says, is it your job? I said, everything's my job. And I just fixed the problem. And he goes, what do you do on board? I said, I'm the magician. Then that's not your job. I said, it's my job. And the next day, I just started saying it. And I've been saying it for decades now, because it's easier to say it's my job and do it than it is to say it's not my job, go look for somebody and find it, which is how I end up in too many committee chairs.
Which is why I know right now your job is to go and get this show
sure
started.
That's
start. Right, so I'm going to let you run. So that was Shawn Farquhar. This is Scotty out.
Awesome.
Tony Chapek. So, we have had some activities that have been happening today, and you've heard some of the people we've been talking with, and one of the people locally here from Atlanta who normally actually would be performing at a convention. The only time he would attend is when he's performing, but he lives here, so he happened by. Tony Chapek. Hey, Tony.
Hey, good to be here.
It's good to be here, just like across town. How far of a drive is this to the airport from you?
45 minutes.
Now, the fact is you fly all the time, so you're used to this path.
Yeah, all right. Oh, yeah, I come to the airport quite a bit.
Because you travel doing your show. You're still performing all over, aren't you?
Well, COVID slowed things down a lot, of course, and now we're trying to get back into it, sure.
For those people who don't know Tony Chapek, I would recommend you go to YouTube, find out some of these things, and watch his videos. He was the first one I ever saw who was doing an interactive show with a television screen, and many other people have since taken that to other levels, but you kind of got the whole thing started.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of the originator.
You're the OG.
I feel like kind of the grandfather of that.
Yes, indeed. And so during COVID, what was that like as far as, were you able to perform things did you perform?
Not too much, but I'm also an engineer, and I kind of have other ways to make a living. So during COVID, I kind of, magic was not going to happen, so I stepped away and built on my other business a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm doing fine with that, and now I have to just kind of start over and get back, get the magic act going again, which will take a little bit of effort because I haven't done it too much since COVID.
That's why I was going to ask it. During COVID, you were kind of focused on your other career, and so you probably didn't rehearse much.
No, I mean I really kind of let it go for a while. Now wanted to come to this convention and hopefully get a spark, feel the atmosphere. And I really feel like, I'm getting motivated to get the magic going again.
This is the place to do it. Where you're going to be around another, I think, what do they have? 500 magicians, I think, was the registration here.
I don't know the number, but it looks about like
so
that.
You kind of get around and you kind of get motivated. You go to the dealer room?
And I have a lot of friends here from Atlanta that I've known for many years, back from the old days of the Magic Club and all that. So it's been really fun to catch up with with some of the old friends.
Well, I hope to see you back.
Seeing people from out of town, too.
Hope to see you back and see your act then again and kind of see what maybe new you might put in over here. I'm sure that with the advent of the thinner screens, it's gotten easier for you to carry your act around.
Yeah, and I actually, for those of people who know my act, it's always been kind of me interacting with this crazy character in a bed in its pajamas. That's kind of what it was for many years.
That's what I say. It sounds like Zoom.
In 2016, I completely rebuilt the concept of the act, where the TV character is now a computer program, and I'm like a corporate presenter, showing this new technology, which is this sort of digital assistant that I've created. And then, of course, he's not quite ready for production yet. We're still working on him, and then, of course, everything goes crazy. So it's been a good time. I've had a blast with the show. The audiences have been great.
Cool.
The Magic community, the conventions. It's just been a fantastic part of my life. So I hope to continue it. Yeah, definitely.
Good. I'll look forward to seeing you in the future at one of the conventions doing that act.
I hope we do.
So with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Steve Chapek. Sorry. Tony, what did I say, Steve? Because Steve just brought me a martini, so that's why I was saying Steve Yee over there. Yeah, see, I can get to my room. Tony Chapek, Scotty out.
Thank you.
So now we are continuing with a little bit of a walk around, getting a little bit of reflections on the convention from different friends. And here's somebody who's a longtime friend of mine, formerly of the Texas area, up in Dallas area, and now in Washington State, Mr. Jarvis, Roland Jarvis. Hey, Jarvis.
Hi, Scott. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, sir. So you are going to be Merlin what? I mean, the Merlin Award is if you have 25 years or more consecutive membership within the I.B.M. And you are getting what, you said?
Then there's Shield at 35, and then there's Excalibur at 60. At 50, and then 60 is, I'm a couple years out of that, whatever 60 is.
Did you pass the 50?
Oh, yeah, I'm way past the 50.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you're approaching the 60 anniversary. But you joined when you were 16, you said, or 15?
Yes, I've been 15 years old, I joined that, and so I've been a member ever since. Now, there was a time when I was in the military and overseas, like Vietnam, and when I came back and asked I.B.M. if I could make up those, and they said, yeah, just pay your dues, and you're fine. So I made it.
And so that's why I say whenever that people have served the military, that they waive those years because they know they've didn't have time, been serving overseas. And you were a helicopter pilot.
A helicopter pilot for the 10 years in the military, and then maybe about 30 years outside the military flying in the Middle East.
And do you fly helicopters outside the business, or do you fly jets? Or
no, I'm a helicopter pilot, 22,000 hours for those who are pilots. They may know what that is. And no, I've got 4 hours in a fixed wing, which isn't very much.
A little bit of difference.
A little bit of difference, right. So it's all been pretty well clandestine operations after the military. Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Iran.
I've always admired, particularly helicopter pilots, during, I don't care, any conflict we have, because I think that's the most dangerous job, because you have to go down. First of all, you're being shot at as you land. You have to find an open area to land, to drop off the soldiers, and then they are getting shot at in an open field, but they're trying to get you also, because they don't want you bringing in any more, so they're trying to knock you out of the air almost before they get the soldiers. I just think that that's the most dangerous job.
You have to have a lot of truth there, but what I like to put people targeting toward, very few of us were operations with something called SOG, Special Operations Group in Vietnam. It's extremely top secret, and right now it's all coming out again, but the people that were on the ground and the people that were in the air in Cambodia and Laos and did all these operations that were very high top secret, extremely, extremely dangerous. So Google it, SOG, SOG. Look it up. I highly recommend it, and you'll see the heroes of America.
Who are still doing this?
I'm a member of the Special Operations Group, yes.
I understand.
I would say Special Observation Group because we didn't do any operations.
You're just observing.
Yeah, just observing.
Well, I see something happening over there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I think I'll get involved.
Looks like they might need a little help.
Yeah, so when it comes down to heroism, I highly recommend you look up SOG. It's being YouTubed now, and so it's a worthy endeavor.
Now, you've had some leg problems or back problems. Is that directly related to some of your...
Agent Orange. Agent Orange is one of those little things we dotted all over Vietnam that has neurological effects on a lot of people.
And you're one of the...
I'm one of the lucky few. Yeah, I used to be a sleight of hand with my thing, and now I can't move my fingers. So,
Wow.
So yeah, what are you going to do?
And you used to be a brunette. Now you're a redhead.
Yeah, that's correct. At least on the head.
So tell me, let's talk about this convention. You've been attending this, obviously, for a long number of years, and I enjoy every time we get together, not just here, but a lot of other conventions and places as well. And a very creative magician that you have come up with some ideas and lectured for magicians and performed a lot. And so also, if anyone is ever interested in trying to improve their act and you don't want to travel to Las Vegas or to take Jeff McBride's Magic and Mystery School, I'm sure you can get hold then of Jarvis and probably do something via Zoom, and he can teach you stuff.
I'm not looking into it right now, but of course, Chase Curtis, the last Gold Cups, I was his coach.
Yeah.
Me and Dale Hyman were his coach, and of course, he's the last guy to win the Gold Cups, and they still haven't had a replacement for him yet.
No, they haven't. I was just talking with Oscar about that. That's strange. Have you kept up with Curtis? The last I heard, he was in Branson, but
No, he's married, got a kid, does fishing off the coast in Galveston, and doesn't do magic anymore, which is really kind of hard because he was really a good example. I remember when he gave a lecture at an I.B.M. convention, some kid come up to him and said, after he had won the Gold Cup, he said, "What can I do?" And Curtis was trying to tell him he needed a good coach. But the parents and stuff kept cutting in, "Oh, I'm paying for that, I'm paying for that." And as I walked away, I looked at Curtis and said, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Kid has no clue." Because you need a good coach, a one-on-one if you're going to go to those levels.
Right. And that's something that you provide.
I provided that, yes. Remember Texas kid...
Steve Wyrick.
Yeah, Steve Wyrick. I made him a winner who went on to do other things.
Yes.
You can talk about him later.
We have. So how can people get in touch with you, by the way, if they are interested in...
I'm on... Well, I'll give you my email address. It's r.jarvis, Jarv as in Victor, IS as in sugar, at me.com. I have another email address, but I don't think I can say it publicly. The Magic Castle told me I couldn't use it, so I didn't. I mean, the first time I performed at the Magic Castle was in 1969. How old am I?
And you're a life member as well.
I am a life member, yes, that's correct.
Which are very few of those, so you've been around a while. You travel quite a bit then, too.
Yes, I've traveled around the world over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, for your job and elsewhere.
Yeah, because it's a good combination. My helicopter job allowed me to go to foreign countries, which then hired me to do magic. In Europe, in the Far East, I was performing from the Magic Castle. At the Magic Castle, I was performing from the Far East.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter.
So I don't think I've really talked with a lot of people about recapping last evening's show. What were your thoughts
about? You really want me to talk about that?
I've had some different comments. What are yours?
You know, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been to a lot of conventions, and it reminded me...
You have a good base of comparison.
I have a really good base. So And I'm not prejudiced at all, and I'm modest. Anyhow, it reminded me so much of the conventions, the old I.B.M. conventions, which the first night show would be done by the local club. Yeah. We used to do that. And this is what I got the impression of last night, that the local club was putting on this show. Yeah. And it wasn't like a hired act or, there's some interesting stuff in it, and there was some stuff that was extremely boring. I actually walked out about 10 minutes before it was all over.
So you missed Los Sanders' part?
Yes. How was that? I heard it was really good.
It was very good. He did Bubbles, which Meadow Perry had done some Bubbles, but he's got his own act that he does, with the linking ring and the floating bubble, but then also floating glass of water, then also of course, his floating table and vanishing table.
I'm really sorry I missed that because Orlando's a good friend, and he's extremely talented. We've judged contests together. And so, yes, I did not know he was on last, or I would have waited for it. But I had a long trip getting out of here from the West Coast, and I was falling asleep, and the card effect that went on forever.
That did go, yeah. Puck had a long card trick. It was dedicated to his two fathers.
What's it? Night? I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, the deal was he was a foster child and was adopted at 5 years old, and his foster father died at 15, and then later in life he was looking for his natural father and found him, who had since died, but he had success as a jazz pianist or something, I believe, a jazz musician. So he had this music playing in the background from his father and doing this card trick as homage to his two dads, and at the end he painted a picture with the cards with the two dads.
Wow, I didn't see that. That was really, really good. Yeah. Did you see the one where the mental effect where he memorized the entire deck?
Oh, yeah, Siegfried Tabor?
Yeah.
I saw him do that at the Magic Castle, too.
Really?
He did that at the parlor and got a standing ovation in the parlor.
Well, you know what? Maybe because I was at the back of the room.
I was at the very back of the room at the parlor, actually, but I was the front. I was the second row last night, though.
The parlor, I played the parlor. The parlor is not that big. It's 65 people, right? That was my famous Antonio Bandez deal. I walk out to do a trick, and who's sitting in the front row but Antonio Bandez? And I go, hey, you want to pick
Bandera?
a card? Bandera, yeah. You want to pick a card? He goes, yeah, no problem. What are you going to do? I mean, the stage is level with the ground, right? Yeah. With the first row. It's great. So, yeah, so now I didn't know. But maybe it would have went over really good there at the castle. But here it was just late at night. It was not that it wouldn't be late at night at the castle, but it's late at night, and he just went on and on and on and on.
Well, as you say, you were on a 3 hour or 4 hour time difference
and a long trip, yeah. So I'm going to go back and give that one another consideration.
And then this morning, or this afternoon, did you get a chance to watch the one trick lectures?
No.
Okay. I was wanting to kind of get a general idea of what that was about. I saw a couple of them, which were very good, and they weren't all cards, so it was good. So I think we've already talked with someone else earlier about who all was on that bill. Well, anyhow, then tonight we're going to be seeing, and Jim had given us a rundown of who's going to be on tonight's show, so it sounds like tonight is the FISM show.
It'd be interesting to see who's going in on the FISM show. Now, like you judge the stage contest, right? Well, I've got the Friday night stage contest judging. So
you'll just decide who the winner is and if a gold medal should be awarded.
Unfortunately, yes.
I don't want to taint you then with my opinions yet.
Don't you dare tell me what your opinion is.
Because I was a judge today, as you said, for all the contestants in order to select the final six who are going to be on there tomorrow. 6 or 7.
You help select the 6 I'm going to watch.
Right.
Okay, good.
So you'll enjoy it. I think it'll be fine. It's a good show tomorrow evening. Because everyone is getting their acts ready for FISM. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Are you going to FISM?
No, I won't be able to go. Traveling's getting a little heavier and heavier. That Agent Orange thing is affecting my legs and my arms. So getting around is getting tougher and tougher and tougher.
I only hope it gets better if possible, because I want to continue to spend as many years as I can with you.
As much as we can together, we will. It's really interesting to see you go out and do this. You're making history by all these things you're talking. We've got friends here. We talk about Doty, Carol Fox, Duke Stern. We talk about Bob Hudson. People you don't even know. I mean, these people created Ab Dixon. They created the world of I.B.M. at the time with the comedy, and they were traditional and they were part of it. Now it's all changing, and I don't know where it's going. I like the young people. I like the way they're getting involved. They remind me of being a kid, but I don't know where. And I watched some of the stuff. I don't know where it's going. I don't know where I.B.M. will go. We will see. Magic can only get better.
I am optimistic.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you go back to the vaudeville, and we have created a new world that's not vaudeville, but it's still as good.
That's true. That's right. Well, Jarvis, thanks very much.
Well, thank you.
Always good talking to you, buddy.
Always good to see you out here. And who are you again?
So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Jarvis, and I am Scotty out.
Thank you. Very good.